The vastness of space stretched endlessly before Captain Eli Rowan. His ship, the Star Seeker, glided quietly through the Zephyrin Cluster, a region of the galaxy both beautiful and mysterious. Stars sparkled like scattered diamonds, and nebulae painted the darkness in waves of violet, blue, and gold. Eli had explored many systems, but this cluster felt different. There was something alive in the glow of its stars, as if the universe itself watched him carefully. Eli adjusted the ship's controls, scanning for energy signatures. He had learned long ago that curiosity was a captain's best friend. There were readings nearby that didn't match any known celestial bodies. A faint pulse of energy, rhythmic like a heartbeat, came from a planet bathed in soft silver light. Its surface shimmered, reflecting the glow of twin suns. "This is unusual," Eli muttered, leaning closer to the control panel. "No moons, no rings, nothing like any world we've charted." His eyes widened as the readings grew stronger. The energy signature was alive in a way he couldn't explain. It wasn't merely electrical or magnetic, it seemed conscious. Eli felt a mixture of excitement and caution. He knew explorers often discovered wonders, but they also faced dangers after careful analysis. Eli decided to approach the planet. The Star Seeker descended through the atmosphere, which felt like gliding through liquid light. The clouds swirled in colors he had never seen before, and gentle sparks of energy danced across the sky. It was breathtaking when the ship touched down on solid ground. Eli stepped out into a world unlike any other. The air was clear, but carried a faint hum, as if the planet itself was singing. Towering trees, luminous with silver leaves, stretched toward the sky. Flowers glowed softly in hues of green and pink. The ground beneath his boots seemed almost alive, pulsing faintly with energy. Eli's eyes scanned the surroundings. He had been trained for first contacts with alien species, but nothing could have prepared him for what he saw next. A figure appeared ahead, a small, radiant being, with skin shimmering faintly like the surface of a calm lake under starlight. Her eyes were large and luminous, and her hair flowed like liquid silver. She watched him carefully, her expression curious but calm. "Hello," Eli said cautiously, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. The being tilted her head. She spoke, but the sound was musical, not harsh or alien sounding. A translation device activated automatically in his helmet, and her words came through clearly. "Who are you?" she asked. "My name is Eli Rowan. I'm an explorer from the planet Earth," he replied. "I mean no harm. I was investigating this planet's energy readings." The being studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled, a small, shy smile that seemed almost magical. "I'm Princess Suri," she said. "Heir of Luminara." Eli blinked. "Princess." Suri nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, I'm young, but I am learning." "Who are you to come to Luminara?" Eli realized that this world, despite its beauty, was not a typical alien planet. Its people were advanced, possibly far older than humans. Yet they had a simplicity in their curiosity, a connection to their world that was rare even among the stars. "I explore," Eli said simply. "I learn. I hope to understand." Princess Suri seemed to consider his words carefully. Then she smiled again, wider this time. "I like you," she said, almost like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I want to show you the garden." Eli followed her through the luminous forest. Everywhere he looked, the world seemed alive with gentle energy. Plants hummed faintly. Streams glowed softly, reflecting the twin suns above. Strange, small creatures scurried between the roots, leaving trails of light behind them. "This is incredible," Eli said, watching a cluster of floating flowers sway in the air. "Your world. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Suri giggled, a sound like wind chimes in the breeze. "It is our home," she said. "We take care of it, and it takes care of us." As they walked, Eli noticed her eyes kept flicking toward him. There was a depth there, a wisdom beyond her apparent age. Yet at the same time, there was innocence. Something about her reminded him of the promise of youth, the hope that anything was possible. After a while, they reached a clearing where the ground glowed brighter, and the stars above seemed closer, as if the sky itself had bent down to watch. Suri stopped and looked up. "Do you see the stars?" she asked. Eli nodded. Yes, they're beautiful. They watch everything, Suri said softly. Even our promises. Even our dreams. Eli raised an eyebrow, curious. Our promises? Suri turned to him, her silver hair catching the light. Yes, promises are important. I make one sometimes, even if I am small. She hesitated for a moment, then looked directly into his eyes. When I grow up, I'll marry you. Eli froze. The words were innocent, simple, yet they carried a weight that he could not have expected. He blinked, trying to understand if she was serious. Marry me? He asked cautiously, a small smile on his lips. You're a child. Suri shook her head. I am young, yes, but a promise is stronger than age. The stars saw it, and they will remember. I promise you. Eli felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had traveled across the galaxy, seen wonders and dangers, but this was unexpected. It was not about romance, at least not yet. It was about trust, hope, and the belief that humans and aliens could connect, truly understand each other. The twin moons rose above them, casting a gentle silver glow over the clearing. The planet seemed to hum softly, acknowledging the promise. For a moment, Eli forgot he was an explorer, a captain. He was simply a visitor, sharing a small, profound moment with a being who was both alien and familiar. Stars remember everything, Suri said, her voice soft. Even small words, even small hearts. Will you remember? I will, Eli said, nodding. I promise. They sat together for hours, talking about the sky, the forests, the strange creatures of Luminara. Eli realized that this world, and this young princess, had a wisdom that humans often lacked. She saw not just with her eyes, but with her heart, when the sun finally dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of violet and gold. Eli knew it was time to return to his ship. But he looked at Suri and felt a bond, fragile yet unbreakable. I will come back, he promised. Suri nodded, her eyes glowing faintly in the twilight. I will wait, she said, and I will grow. And the stars, they will remember our vow. As Eli climbed into the Star Seeker, he felt a strange mix of hope and responsibility. Humans were explorers, dreamers, builders, but here, on Luminara, he realized their courage and ingenuity were not just tools for survival. They could inspire trust, friendship, and perhaps even love across the stars. He looked back at the luminous planet, glowing under the watchful eyes of twin moons. Somewhere in the forests, Princess Suri watched him leave, her heart full of wonder and conviction. The stars, distant yet intimate, twinkled as if acknowledging her vow. As the ship rose into the sky, Eli wondered what the future held. He had no idea that this promise, spoken so simply under alien stars, would set the stage for a journey that would test humanity's courage, ingenuity, and spirit in ways he could never have imagined. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns. But in that moment, he knew one truth. Humans had something extraordinary within them, something that even the stars could see. And Princess Suri, the radiant air of Luminara, had made a vow that would ripple across space and time. Years had passed since Captain Eli Rowan first set foot on Luminara. The twin moons that had witnessed Princess Cersei's vow still glowed above the planet. Unchanged in their gentle rhythm, Eli had returned to Earth and other human colonies, exploring, learning, and recording the wonders of the galaxy. Yet Luminara never left his mind. The human race had grown rapidly in knowledge and courage, spreading to distant planets, terraforming worlds, and building new cities in the stars. Yet for all their achievements, humans were still young compared to civilizations like Luminara, and humans still had something special: and adaptability, a creativity that could not be measured by technology alone. Eli had witnessed it many times, but now he had a chance to show it on a stage unlike any other. The reason for his return was official, yet personal. The Luminarians had requested a meeting, intrigued by humanity's growing influence and ingenuity. For Eli, it was a chance to see Princess Suri again. She was no longer a child, though she still carried the same brightness and curiosity in her eyes. She had grown into her role as heir, learning the wisdom of her people, mastering their knowledge. and understanding the responsibilities that came with leadership. When Ellie's ship touched down on Luminara again, he was greeted not by curiosity alone, but by an atmosphere of cautious expectation. Luminarians, graceful and radiant, moved through the luminous forests, their movements precise yet flowing. They were unlike humans in every physical sense. But there was a shared intelligence in their eyes, a recognition that any life was precious and complex. Suri met him at the landing site, as though she had been expecting him all along. Her silver hair flowed in the soft breeze, and her eyes sparkled with both familiarity and authority. Eli Rowan, she said with a smile, though her tone carried the weight of her responsibilities. You return. The stars foretold it. I promised I would come back, Eli said, stepping forward with a bow of respect, and I always keep my promises. Suri studied him for a moment. You have grown, she said, and humans have changed. Your kind now moves among the stars with confidence. But can your heart match your skill? Eli smiled, understanding the challenge beneath her words. We try, he said simply. Their first days together were filled with tours and discussions. Eli marveled at the architecture of Luminara cities that glow with living energy, buildings that seemed to grow rather than be constructed. Technology was advanced beyond human imagination, yet it blended perfectly with the natural world. Rivers of light flowed through the city, carrying energy to every home. Plants moved in harmony with the structures, responding to needs and commands. Yet despite the beauty, Eli sensed a cautious distance. The Luminarians were polite, welcoming, but hesitant. Humans were strangers, untested in their ways. Even a small mistake could have caused tension. Eli realized that trust was something humans could earn, not assume. One afternoon, as Suri guided him through a floating garden, she asked, Tell me, Eli, why do humans explore? Why do you risk your lives for stars so far away? Eli looked around at the glowing flowers and humming trees. Curiosity, he said simply, and hope. We want to know what is out there. We want to understand. And sometimes, we want to help. Suri nodded slowly. We watch humans. Your kind acts in ways that are unpredictable. You find solutions that logic cannot foresee. That is both frightening and fascinating. That evening, the twin moons rose high, casting a silver glow across the gardens. Suri sat beside Eli, as if the years and responsibilities between them had vanished. Do you remember your first promise? She asked softly. Eli chuckled, recalling the day she had made her vow. I do. And I remember promising the stars would remember it too. Suri smiled, her voice barely above a whisper. You were so young, and so brave, and yet humans have grown, in ways even I did not expect. In the following days, Eli observed the Luminarians in their daily life. Their abilities were extraordinary, yes, but he noticed something else, their reliance on structure and tradition. Humans, in contrast, often thrived in chaos, improvising solutions, thinking quickly, and adapting to the unexpected. This combination of courage and ingenuity had allowed humanity to survive where many other species might fail. The first real test came unexpectedly. While Eli and Suri were touring an energy grid on the outskirts of the city, a sudden malfunction caused the power to flicker. Lights dimmed, and energy streams swirled unpredictably, threatening to destabilize part of the city. Panic began to ripple among the Luminarians. Their systems were advanced, but the malfunction was something they had never encountered. Eli stepped forward. Stand back, he said calmly. His training as an explorer and captain had taught him to act under pressure. He scanned the energy streams, using both human intuition and the ship's portable analyzer. Suri watched him, unsure but hopeful. Be careful, she said. Eli worked quickly, rerouting energy flows, improvising with tools that were simple but effective. The Luminarians watched, learning from his thought process. His hands moved confidently, adjusting controls, rerouting conduits, and using a combination of human creativity and logic. After tense minutes, the system stabilized. The city hummed back to life, lights returning, energy flows normalizing. The Luminarians erupted in quiet applause. impressed by the human skill. Ceres's eyes shone with admiration. You saved part of the city, she said softly. With your methods, they are different, but effective. Eli smiled. Sometimes different is better. He said, sometimes thinking outside the rules is the only way to fix what seems impossible. That night, Suri and Eli sat once more under the twin moons. The hum of the city below blended with the gentle energy of the planet. You see, Eli, she said thoughtfully, your kind has a courage I did not fully understand before. And it is not just bravery. It is creativity, intuition, and the willingness to act even when the outcome is uncertain. Eli nodded. We make mistakes, but we also learn quickly, and we try to protect what we care about. Suri reached out and touched his hand lightly. The stars are smiling tonight, she said. They are happy that I made my vow, and that humanity has shown its worth. In the weeks that followed, Eli continued to work alongside Suri and her people. He helped solve environmental challenges, navigated delicate political discussions, and even taught the younger Luminarians about human problem-solving. Each day, he saw the respect and trust grow not just from Suri, but from her people as well. One day, as he and Suri walked along a river that glowed with soft golden light, she asked, do you believe humans are ready for the galaxy? Eli looked out at the flowing water, reflecting the twin moons above. I do, he said. We are young, yes, but we are brave, curious, and clever. We may stumble, but we learn, and we care. That is what makes us ready. Suri smiled, her expression thoughtful and proud. Perhaps the stars were right to watch us. Perhaps your promise and mine are not just words. Perhaps they are a bond between our peoples, between the future and now. Eli nodded, understanding her deeper meaning. Their connection, once playful and simple, had grown into a symbol of unity, trust, and mutual respect. Humanity had proven itself capable, not through conquest or power, but through courage, ingenuity, and compassion. As the twin moons reflected on the luminous river, Eli felt a quiet hope. He had come seeking wonder, and he had found it not just in the beauty of Luminara, but in the hearts of its people and in the bond he shared with Princess Suri. The stars above shone brighter than ever, as if acknowledging the progress of humanity, and the promise made years ago under their gentle light. Eli knew that the trials they had faced were only the beginning. Greater challenges, wonders, and opportunities awaited, and together, humans and Luminarians could face them, united in trust, ingenuity, and hope. That night, as Eli prepared to return to his ship, Suri stood beside him. She looked at the horizon, then back at him, her silver hair glowing softly. You see, Eli, she said, we are learning from each other. The galaxy is wide, and many stars wait to witness what humans can do. Eli smiled, feeling the weight of her words and the lightness of her hope. And we will not disappoint them, he said. The twin moons rose high, casting silver light over the planet. Somewhere in the distance, the energy of Luminara pulsed gently, a reminder that even in a world of incredible beauty and wisdom, courage, creativity, and the human spirit were not just valuable, they were extraordinary. And as Eli looked at Princess Suri, he understood that the promise made so many years ago was more than a vow between two hearts. It was a symbol of humanity's potential, a potential that could shine across the stars, touching worlds and beings beyond imagination. The galaxy was vast, filled with mysteries and challenges, but for the first time, Eli truly believed that humans were ready, and Princess Suri, radiant and wise, would stand with them witnessing, learning, and inspiring as humanity began to prove its worth in the grand theater of the stars. The peaceful harmony of Luminara did not last forever. For months, subtle anomalies had appeared in the skies, a strange dimming of distant stars, flickers of energy in normally stable systems, and whispers among the Luminarians of a force known only as the umbral conflux. Ancient Luminarians spoke of it as a cosmic predator, a phenomenon that drained the energy of stars and disrupted planets, leaving systems barren and lifeless. Eli had first noticed signs of it while monitoring the outer clusters from his ship. Sensors picked up abnormal energy patterns, shifting unpredictably and leaving trails of disrupted light. At first, he assumed it was a natural anomaly. But when Luminara began reporting irregular energy fluctuations and small tremors in its energy grids, he realized the threat was real and urgent. He met with Princess Suri in the central chamber of the Luminara Council. The chamber floated above the city, bathed in gentle luminescent light. Below, the city hummed quietly. Unaware of the danger approaching, Suri stood at the center, her posture regal yet tense. Around her, the council members discussed strategies in rapid, elegant gestures, their energy flowing like threads between them. Eli Rowan, Suri said when she saw him, her eyes reflecting both concern and hope. Your experience with human ingenuity may be what we need. This conflux is unlike anything we have encountered. Even our brightest minds cannot predict its path. Eli studied the energy readings projected before him. The conflux moved like a shadow across space, consuming energy from stars and planets alike. Its presence was immense, almost sentient. It's intelligent, Eli said carefully. It doesn't just move randomly, it reacts to energy, to obstacles, it learns. The council murmured among themselves. Some luminarians suggested retreating, shielding the planet, or letting it pass. But Eli shook his head. You can hide, he said, but the conflux will find you eventually, and it will grow stronger. We need to act together. Ceres's eyes softened. And you believe humans can help? I do, Eli said confidently. We think differently. We improvise. We take risks when others hesitate. That's our strength. It was decided that Eli would lead a joint team of humans and luminarians. Together, they would study the conflux, predict its movement, and find a way to neutralize its energy-draining effect. The preparation was intense. Humans and luminarians worked side by side, exchanging knowledge. Luminarians were amazed at the simplicity and ingenuity of human tools and methods. Eli introduced devices and strategies that relied not on sheer power, but on adaptability, observation, and quick thinking. Luminarians followed instructions with precision, but also learned to allow a degree of unpredictability, something humans excelled at. Suri observed the preparations closely. She had grown in wisdom, understanding both her people's capabilities and humanity's potential. She also felt a personal responsibility. She had promised the stars and Eli that they would face challenges together. Now that promise had meaning beyond a personal vow. It represented unity between species, courage, and hope. Finally, the day came to face the conflux. Eli and Suri stood on a high platform overlooking the city. Below, energy conduits glowed as the team prepared their devices. Humans had adapted mobile energy amplifiers, simple but powerful tools that could redirect energy flows. Luminarians contributed precise calculations and refined energy fields. The conflux approaches, Suri said, her voice steady. May the stars guide us, Eli nodded. Let's begin. The sky above Luminara darkened unnaturally. A shadow moved through space, larger than any planet, yet shifting with fluid, unpredictable motion. Stars dimmed as the conflux absorbed their energy, leaving a void in its wake. The team activated the combined devices, projecting energy barriers, amplifiers, and light fields to stabilize Luminara's atmosphere. At first, it seemed to work. Energy flowed smoothly, stabilizing the city's systems, but the conflux adapted. Finding weaknesses in their defenses, tendrils of dark energy reached toward the amplifiers, draining power, twisting the luminarians' fields. Panic threatened to rise, but Eli remained calm. Focus, he shouted. Adapt as we go. Watch its movement, predict its reaction, and redirect energy where it is weakest. Humans and luminarians alike followed his lead. They observed the conflux, learning its patterns. Eli noticed that it reacted most strongly to sudden changes. If energy flows shifted unpredictably, it would hesitate. He instructed his team to create a cascading pattern, alternating energy directions, forcing the conflux to overextend. Suri watched him, realizing that human intuition, risk-taking, and improvisation were exactly what they needed. Your people, you are remarkable, she murmured to herself. Hours passed. The battle against the conflux was not one of weapons or force, but of strategy, observation, and quick thinking. Eli directed teams with calm authority, moving between human and Luminarians groups, adjusting amplifiers, redirecting flows, and predicting reactions. Each success encouraged the next, building confidence across the team. Then, a moment of crisis arrived. The conflux struck at the central energy grid, the heart of Luminara. If it succeeded, the city could collapse, and the planet could lose its stability. The Luminarians' defenses alone could not withstand the force. Eli acted quickly. "Suri, we need to combine our energies now," he shouted. Suri nodded, raising her hands. She projected her people's collective energy field, focusing it on the grid. Eli coordinated the human amplifiers to feed energy into the field at precise intervals, creating a controlled surge. Together, human creativity and Luminarians' power merged into a single, dynamic solution. The conflux met the combined energy, its shadow twisting and writhing. For a tense moment, it seemed unstoppable. Then, it recoiled, as if surprised by the ingenuity it had not anticipated. Its tendrils of darkness faltered. Energy fields realigned, and slowly, the conflux was forced to retreat. Eli exhaled sharply, sweat on his brow. "It's working," he said. Suri stood beside him, her eyes wide with relief and admiration. "Your people, you have saved Luminara." The city below erupted in luminous displays of gratitude. Luminarians sang in harmony, their voices echoing through the glowing forests. Humans cheered, feeling the exhilaration of victory. Together, they had faced a cosmic threat and succeeded. Later that evening, Eli and Suri walked through the floating gardens, the city glowing softly around them, the twin moons reflected in the rivers, shimmering like witnesses to their triumph. "You see," Eli said quietly, "humans may be young, but we adapt, we improvise, and we never give up, even when the odds seem impossible." Suri smiled. "The stars were right to watch us," she said. "And your vow, even yours, Eli. We have proven together that courage, creativity, and unity can overcome even the most impossible challenges." Eli looked up at the sky. The stars seemed brighter, more alive than ever, as if celebrating the victory. "We have more to face," he said. "But tonight, we remember that humans can rise to any challenge, no matter how big or strange." Suri reached out, her hand brushing his. "And we will rise together," she said. Luminara and humanity, side by side. For the first time, Eli truly felt that human ingenuity, courage, and hope were more than just traits. They were a force recognized across the stars. The conflux had tested them, challenged them, and almost defeated them. But through observation, intuition, and unity, humans had proven they were capable of extraordinary feats. As the night settled over Luminara, Eli and Suri sat beneath the twin moons, gazing at the stars. They knew the galaxy was vast, full of dangers, wonders, and unknown forces. But humanity had shown its potential not through dominance, but through heart, creativity, and courage. And somewhere in the cosmos, the stars themselves seemed to shimmer in approval, witnessing a human-alien bond that was stronger than distance, challenge, or time. The vow Suri had made so many years ago was no longer a promise between two individuals. It was a symbol of hope, ingenuity, and unity that could change the future of both their peoples. The galaxy was far from safe, but for the first time, Eli felt a quiet certainty. Humans, guided by courage and intelligence, could face any challenge. And together, with Luminarians by their side, they could shine as bright as the stars themselves. The stars hung brightly over Luminara, their silver glow spilling across the floating city. After the battle with the umbral conflux, the planet seemed to breathe again, alive with gentle energy. Rivers of light flowed steadily, forests shimmered, and the citizens of Luminara moved with renewed purpose. The crisis had passed, and yet its memory lingered, a reminder of the dangers of the galaxy, and of the courage it took to face them. Captain Eli Rowan stood on a high platform overlooking the city. The hum of energy beneath his feet felt comforting, steady, and alive. Beside him, Princess Suri watched with quiet pride. She had grown into a leader her people respected, wise yet kind, radiant yet grounded. And she had kept her promise, her vow to the stars and to Eli, that she would honor the bond they shared. Eli, she said softly, turning toward him, your people have shown what humans can do. Your courage, your creativity, your willingness to act when others hesitate. It has saved Luminara. Eli smiled, humbled. I could not have done it alone. It was the humans, yes, but it was also your people. Together, we found a way. Suri reached out and touched his hand lightly, her eyes shimmering. It was more than just saving a planet. It was a proof that two very different peoples can work together, trust one another, and even care for each other. That is what the stars wanted us to see. The twin moons rose higher, casting their silver light across the gardens and rivers. Luminara seemed to glow in response, as if the planet itself celebrated their success. The citizens of the city began gathering in the central plaza, drawn by the unusual glow and the sense of a momentous event. Word had spread quickly. Eli Rowan, human explorer, had faced a cosmic threat alongside the princess and her people and triumphed. The plaza shimmered as luminarians and humans stood side by side. Energy fields intertwined with human devices, creating a dance of light that symbolized unity. Suri raised her hands, calling for silence. The crowd quieted immediately, the air humming with anticipation. I called upon this human, Suri began, her voice clear and strong, because the stars whispered that they had potential beyond what we understood. And this human, Eli Rowan, has proven it. Eli felt a surge of pride, yet also humility. He had faced danger, yes, but the recognition from Suri and her people was unlike anything he had known. Humans were often underestimated across the galaxy, seen as young, unpredictable, and inexperienced. Here, on Luminara, their courage and ingenuity were honored. Suri continued, her gaze shifting to him. And now, it is time to honor a vow made years ago, a promise spoken under the twin moons, witnessed by the stars themselves, a promise that has grown with time and with understanding. She took a deep breath, her expression solemn yet radiant. Eli Rowan, I promised that when I grew up, I would stand with you, that I would honor the bond between our peoples and between us. Today, I fulfill that vow. The crowd gasped softly, energy rippling through the plaza. Eli felt his heart race not from fear, but from awe. The bond they had formed as explorers and friends had grown into something far greater, something recognized by two worlds and the stars themselves. Suri stepped closer, extending her hand fully. Will you, Eli Rowan, accept this bond? Not just as a human to an alien or a leader to a princess, but as partners in the future of the stars? Eli took her hand, his grip firm but gentle. I will, he said, his voice steady. I accept, not just for myself, but for humanity. We will stand with you, side by side, as friends, allies, and companions. The stars above seemed to shimmer brighter in response. Energy flowed from the city into the sky, creating arcs of golden and silver light that danced like the auroras of old Earth. The crowd cheered softly, feeling the significance of the moment, not just a vow between two individuals, but a promise for the future of two civilizations. Over the following weeks, preparations were made to honor this bond. Eli and Suri worked together, planning ways for humans and luminarians to collaborate on exploration, research, and defense. Luminara's citizens were inspired by the courage and ingenuity of humans, while humans marveled at the wisdom and harmony of the luminarians. Both species learned from each other, growing stronger together. One morning, as the twin moons rose high, Eli and Suri stood at the edge of a luminous river, the water reflecting the sky like liquid light. Around them, small creatures played, and energy streams hummed softly. The moment was peaceful, yet charged with meaning. You see, Eli, Suri said, her voice soft. This is only the beginning. There are more worlds, more stars, more challenges. But now, we face them together. Humans and luminarians, side by side. Eli nodded. We've already seen what we can accomplish when we trust each other. And the galaxy, it's full of unknowns. but humans will rise to meet them, just as we have here." Cerise smiled, her silver hair shimmering in the sunlight. "And the stars," she said, "will continue to watch us. They have seen the bond we share, the courage of your people, and the strength that comes from unity. They will remember, in the months that followed, humans and Luminarians worked side by side on projects that would have been impossible alone. They built research stations on distant moons, stabilized energy flows on unstable planets, and explored anomalies in the galaxy that had puzzled other civilizations for centuries. Ellie's leadership, creativity, and courage inspired humans to excel, while Ceres's wisdom guided the Luminarians to embrace collaboration and trust. The story of the conflux became legend, a tale of cooperation and bravery taught to young humans and Luminarians alike. Children learned that courage and ingenuity could triumph over the most unimaginable challenges. Adults remembered that trust between different peoples could create bonds stronger than fear or misunderstanding. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the glowing city, Eli and Cerise sat together in the gardens. The energy of the planet hummed softly around them, a gentle reminder that life, in all its forms, was precious. "Do you remember your first promise?" Eli asked, smiling. Cerise nodded. "Of course. It seems like a long time ago. I was small, and I did not understand the full weight of my words. But the stars remembered, and I remembered. And now, we face the future together." Eli reached out, taking her hand once more. "The galaxy is vast, Cerise, but humans are not afraid of the unknown. We adapt, we learn, and we protect what matters." Ceres's eyes shimmered. "And the stars, they witness it all. They shine brighter when we honor our promises, when we act with courage and unity. Your people, your spirit, it is remarkable, Eli, truly remarkable." The two stood quietly for a while, watching the rivers of light flow through the city. The twin moons reflected in the luminous waters, and the stars above sparkled as though celebrating the bond between them. It was a moment of triumph, not just for a planet or a species, but for the human spirit itself. Eli realized that humans had grown far beyond what many believed possible. They had explored the stars, faced dangers unimaginable, and now had proven their worth to another civilization and advanced. Ancient species that had watched the universe for eons. Yet what made humanity truly extraordinary was not technology or knowledge, but courage, creativity, and the willingness to act when the odds seemed impossible. Cerise squeezed his hand gently. "This is our future, Eli, humans and Luminarians together, building, exploring, and protecting. The stars are ours to witness and ours to honor." Eli nodded, feeling a quiet pride. "And we will not fail. We will rise to every challenge, just as we have." The twin moons reflected in the glowing river. The city shimmered with life, and the stars above twinkled in approval. The vow made years ago, under the gentle watch of the twin moons, had been fulfilled. What began as a simple promise between a young princess and a curious explorer had grown into a symbol of hope, courage, and unity across the stars. As Eli and Cerise looked toward the horizon, the galaxy seemed endless and full of possibilities. They knew challenges awaited, dangers unseen, and mysteries unsolved. But together, humans and Luminarians would face them. Guided by trust, creativity, and the unyielding human spirit, the stars shone brighter that night, as if celebrating a vow kept, a challenge overcome, and a future forged in courage and hope. Humanity had proven itself not just as explorers, but as capable, courageous, and extraordinary beings, and Princess Cerise, radiant and wise, stood beside them all, honoring the promise of a bond that would shape the future of worlds and the stars themselves. Forever.